Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Tarot with an Attitude. I am your host, Rob Lee, and as it says right there, I always point the wrong way. Let me introduce you to a friend of mine. This is Tony Ciorillo, also known as Top Hat Tone. I want y'all to go to tophattone.com, check out his website. It's right there. Good to see you, sir. How are you?
Good to see you. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Tell us what Top Hat Tone's about.
Well, Top Hat Tone is my manifest for my steampunk company. Basically, I own a steampunk, gothic, and metaphysical retail business, and the primary focus are my custom hats. Basically, I take hats and I turn them into what I would consider steampunk, Victorian arts, gothic. There's a lot of things that kind of intertwine with the genres. I'm very into macabre. I'm very into steampunk. And I'm also, a pagan witch, and I'm into metaphysical things as well. So they kind of combine. But my main thing is that I make these custom hats and I sell them online. And it's something that I've done for a little bit, probably for several years now. And I just really have a passion. It's just this weird thing that I don't know how it happened. One day I just looked in my area and I just have like all these hats, and that's what I have. That's what I do now. So that's where life took me, and I love it. It's good. Beautiful. Yeah, it's
good. Hey, for all my Facebook users out there, make sure when you're logging on through Facebook that all I see is Facebook user. Make sure you tell StreamYard you click out, click back in, and let StreamYard know it's okay to show us your name so I can actually see who I'm talking to. But good morning. Good morning. Yeah, we're going to do something a little different here right now. So I'm just going to call you Top Hat Tone.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Top Hat Tone, you said you were also a witch and a pagan. I think a lot of people what do you see as the most misconception or the idea that is most misconceived by people when you say that?
Well, I think that popular culture has a very big influence and a very big hold on collective individual perception when it comes to paganism and it comes to witchcraft. I think that the media, the popular, the movie, it's cool sometimes. It's very attractive, and then we see movies, and I'll get kind of specific because, we have Sabrina, we have The Craft, and it sounds funny that I'm talking about this, but I've actually have done some research, and I've actually read about professionals who are in the psychic and spiritual healing professional work. That's what they do. And they've actually specifically said that Sabrina themselves, it was actually in my paper, they actually used that word right there, that Sabrina the Witch is kind of a reason why people have these different stigmas and these different things. I'm not talking about that specifically, but I talk about it a lot because one experience that I had when I was doing tarots was a young man came up to me and he wanted to do these tarots, but his mom was like, "Oh no, I'm not going to do those. I've seen Sabrina and I know what goes down." So that right there is just the one. I mean, there's a lot of different things. I'm not just saying it's that one thing, but I just wanted to get that out because that is so definitive and so specific of our perception today. I think popular culture has really glorified the darkness of witchcraft, and they haven't really focused on the other portions of paganism, because you have paganism, which is the umbrella of spirituality, Celtic, let's see here, Druid, shaman, native shaman.
And here's a good example. Michael Schmidt from the Facebook group is asking, what is the major difference between pagan and Wiccan?
Okay. Well, to get to that, but real quick, just to wrap up, I really do think that it's not being informed And I think that that's what is really causing a misperception on actual witchcraft itself. Not only that, people are looking, I think that individuals look at the term witch and that's all they concentrate is that term, but they don't really examine the term. You know, a witch is basically a name. It's a label that was given to another individual who would practice energy work and was a child of nature and practitioner. When we don't think that it's odd to call a shaman a witch doctor. When we call a shaman a witch doctor, we don't get as freaked out and we don't get as scared. We think of a shaman doing it with sage or something like that. But when we talk about a witch, for some reason, we have to think of that dark pointed hat, Wizard of Oz, I'm going to get you, my pretty, you know what I mean? And all these different things. And I think that really creates a stigma when looking at it. So now, you were asking me the difference between pagan and Wicca, which I'll try to make quick. Yeah. Because that is a very
a lot of people ask that question.
There's a lot of confusion, and with a lot of individuals that are interested in the path, it's very confusing when they become interested in either Wicca or pagan. They don't know what it is yet. They just know that they're drawn. I was drawn towards a lot of different things. I was drawn towards symbols, some Wiccan things, some pagan things. I was really attracted to the symbols. I mean, I love this. I have the tattoo. I don't know if you could say it, but it's actually the Maoan symbol because I was so attracted to how it looked, the beauty of this symbol. And I was infatuated and I just wanted to know about it. I just wanted to know more about it. And I think that's what it is with Wicca, with, paganism. So the difference, I would actually say the difference, one of the differences in pagan and witchcraft is the actual Wiccan is the actual root of Wicca. Okay, when you look at where both of them came from, first of all, the pagans were first. It's been here since the beginning of time. And I believe it was the Christians that actually gave that name to somebody who would experiment and study energy and maybe read tarot.
So pagan was like the kind of all-encompassing thing, and then Wiccan was an offshoot of that.
Yeah, if you really look it up, and I've done papers and everything. I have one paper. It's called "The Acceptance of Spiritual and Psychic Healing in Contemporary Society." I've done a lot of research. I've actually have a degree from a Christian university. Actually, I was involved in the church, so I really am aware of both sides. And so what paganism is, it's this umbrella, it's this big umbrella of spiritualism. And the only real thing that separates Christianity from paganism is monotheism and omnitheism. Monotheism being that there's one God that controls you, that you're in the power of this one entity and you're submissive to him. Omnitheistic, omnitheistic would be that that everybody's a part of everything, that this God isn't superior to you, but a part of you, and that energy and that life force is intertwined into your particles. And pagans, and I think that's a big part of why pagans really see themselves as a pinnacle. When you look at the star and the pinnacle of the elements of the earth, that's who we are. We are one. We are this all forever encompassing star that moves through the universe, that has all of these elements. So, with paganism, there's subcategories. There's shaman. I believe even Buddhists are even are considered pagans and things like that. So now, what happened was Wicca actually didn't really it was kind of present, but I don't really think that the name itself got noticed or was even coined till the 60s. I think that Gardner or Cunningham? I think it was Gardner, or was it Cunningham? I think it was Gardner. Gardner, who was an Englishman, started to study the old ways of the witches, and he formulated all these things together. and he actually started a coven organically. And he actually, to tell you the truth, he knew somehow he connected with elder witches, with these women who had knowledge of the old ways of the witch. And he took this knowledge and he sort of modernized it. He sort of Americanized it. He was English, but he would have all these parties and stuff at his house. You know, he was
I had also heard that Wiccans are very feminine based. They're a feminine energy. They really embrace the feminine energy. And Michael asks again, is Wicca more nature based than? See, Mike, I think what Top Hat Tone's trying to tell us is you have pagan. There is no difference between Wicca and paganism. Wicca is a branch of paganism.
Yeah.
So there's not that much of a difference. It's kind of looking at what they actually believe and things like that.
Now, to interject, I would say that there is one difference that actually does separate them. And that is the ritualistic. The Wicca has a foundation that was built from, I believe most of it's Hecate. I think that once Greek. So you have the Egyptians and you have Hermetics and you have the Golden Dawn and things like that. And what happened was what happened with that was things like the Kabbalah and the Seven Laws that trickled into ancient Greece. So that went into ancient Greece. The Greeks and the Romans borrowed a lot of different things. And, you know, they were polytheistic. They worshiped multiple gods and things like that. So one of the goddesses that they really worshipped were, Diana. And I think Hermes was the male figure of the counterpart of Diana. Okay. And they really focus on Diana, but they really focus on Hecate. Not only that, Wicca has a wherever the original practice of the items and the things that they do came from, it's very specific. They have an athame. They have all these different things that they use within their practice. When you cast a circle, you have to say it a certain way, you know, to make sure that that circle's functional. They have all these different specific things that have to be done. When you look at a Wiccan ritual, when you're like, all right, if you were actually to be like, hey, how would I do a Wiccan love ritual? It's a very specific thing that was passed on.
Okay.
As opposed, you know what I mean? You might have to use your athame. You might have to use this red candle and have your altar. And another thing with Wicca, your altar is set up in a certain way. Your athame has to be here. Everything has to be in place for it to be official. Okay. You know, and not everybody.
So it's very ritualistic.
Yeah, it's ritualistic. And by saying that, I personally think that Wicca is a religion. I think that it is a religion. I think Wicca itself is practice and discussed and everything like a religion.
Okay.
You know, so
that makes sense.
And that's I think that's what separates Wicca from spiritualism and spirituality, because pagan and spiritualism are actually the same thing. To tell you the truth, a spiritualist is somebody who believes in a higher power, a higher energy, that everything moves through the world, you know.
Christina's saying that she said, thanks for giving me the term omnitheism. As coming from a monotheistic religion, I'm more of thinking that every religion sees the same God. And Christina, that's an awakening for a lot of people. No, they don't. Sometimes we want to derive comfort in that just differently, just as everyone sees a different side of you. People say a different side with God, but actually in omnitheism, there are different deities, different powers, like in Hindi and things like that. Yeah. So,
if you look at the term, so we have omnitheism, but we also have polytheistic. So now you have to actually, there's one thing that it's a fine line, and it's very important that individuals understand this, because if you have polytheism, which are multiple gods, and you honor these gods and you feel these gods and you take in the gods, how can you be omnitheistic, which is God is all? So what they do is they take the energy from the god, the goddesses, and everything, and that is one collective, one soul.
Okay.
Everything is combined in each other. My personal practice, I'm polytheistic, but I'm also omnitheistic. I honor multiple gods and goddesses, and I'm very eclectic. I'm a pagan eclectic with a focus on Egypt, which are very polytheistic, and Egypt is omnitheistic because they believe that everything is Ra, that Adam Ra, the father of creation that is seen through the sun, is this giver of light, which runs through everybody, but can be honored in multiple ways. So that's another debate. There's a lot of things that go around that branch around, and sometimes Christians oppose to that because their structure is so black and white, because it's like, no, we're we're monotheistic, and we just have one God. That's it. We have this one God, and their God is so specific that it's a man, and it creates this masculine. But I'm not here to.
Yeah, no. And people that know me, and Christina's my daughter. Actually, she supports everything I do, so I appreciate that. But people, a lot of times when I'm starting my tarot, I say a prayer, our Heavenly Father. But I also then say the Divine Mother, because I believe they're all of the same, kind of like what Christina was saying, they're coming out. And I have to grasp, I believe that spirit guides and angels and dragons and the Fae were given to us, for different purposes, different things, so we can embrace that. So that's kind of where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, hey, we got people saying thank you. Great to see you both. Nice to see you, rabbits. Haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here. What would that be like the Egyptians who had many gods? I think he's trying to wrap it.
Yes. That's what I was explaining.
Good question, Mike.
Yeah, you're totally right. That is like the Egyptians who've had many gods. My personal practice is based on Egypt and the Hermetic laws. Hermetics, the 7 laws of Hermeticism. A good place to start is the Kabbalion. It's a very thin book that you can get on Amazon. It's only like $3, and it lists the 7 laws which spawned from Egypt. These were passed on through Lord Thoth, and they were found in the Emerald Tablets in the 19th century. And they were actually said to be written by Hermes Trismegistus himself, who actually crisscrossed with Moses. But yes, you are right. That's actually the primary focus of my practice. I honor multiple Egyptian gods and multiple other gods, but I literally and physically see the sun as Ra, as God. When I look at the sun, I look at the sun as my God. I worship the sun. I honor the moon. I'm a Cancer, and my domicile home is the moon. And my waters, I'm a big water sign, and everything is ran on all my waves and waters. And a lot of that energy comes from the moon. And I love Goddess. I love Goddess so much that I actually will sing a song about her here in a little bit.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, I think now's a good time. Top Hat Tone is also a musician. I got him to bring his acoustic guitar today. You're going to see more of them. So let's take a moment, grab your guitar, and again, it's a good time to hear a song about a goddess. Is there a particular goddess here that you're going to be singing about?
Well, if you listen to the word, so the way I do it is I honor Goddess and her many geists. And this is actually the chorus in the song. So this song that I wrote is called the Goddess Song, and I just wanted to sing a nice song to show the goddess how much I do honor her. And when I do honor her, I honor the goddess form in her many forms. Some of my main goddesses that I work with are Isis. I also work with Hecate. I do some stuff with Hecate. And there's some other Egyptian goddesses. Selene. I really love Selene, the Greek moon goddess. Inanna and Ishtar are very important to me. The Assyrian fertility goddess, who has it's the root of the world, actually. If we start talking about Samaria now,
Yeah, no, let's
start talking about.
Yeah,
so,
we ain't got a lot of time. I want
so,
people to hear your song. So
so
here we go. This is Top Hat Tone. Let me get you back over to his site. Let me find out where I put the thing at. And here we are. So Top Hat Tone, everybody.
So you get that audio there.
Yep.
So this is called Goddess Song. The fire's gonna burn tonight. And God is gonna show us her light. And the moon is so waning and pure, like the souls that dance in lure. Will honor her in many guys. I wanna dance in the mountain light, 'cause I'm a stone cast into the ancient circle in a sea of might beneath the tree of life. And the waves are gonna crash upon the shores of the wilderness sun. And we'll reach our hands as one, 'cause the goddess song is song. Will honor her and her many guys. I wanna dance in the mountain light, 'cause I'm a stone cast into the ancient circle in a sea of might beneath the tree of life. 'Cause I will honor her and many guys. I wanna dance in the little light, 'cause I'm a stone cast into an ancient circle in a sea of might beneath the tree of life. 'Cause I will honor her and many guys. I wanna dance oh sterilites, 'cause I'm a stone cast into the ancient circle in a sea of might beneath the tree of life.
All right. Thank you. This is Tony Ciriello,
Ciriello. It's
also known as Top Hat Tone. So I want to make sure y'all have his website. We are this awesome hat. He makes them. He's very much into steampunk, loves steampunk, and different things. So yeah, take it off, throw it up there if you want to take it off.
I don't think you want to see what's under this.
Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. So,
but you could actually, if you want to take a look, my FB page. I have my FB page, Top Hat Tone, basically.
Facebook page, y'all, Top Hat Tone.
I have a YouTube channel on Top Hat Tone where I talk about my hats. I just sit there and I kind of make hats. And you know what? Sometimes I'll do a walkthrough my hats. I like DIY and stuff like that. So, and then I have my YouTube channel, Top Hat Tone, Space Time Healing on Facebook.
Okay,
is where I do my tarot work. I usually do. I'm a Thoth tarot reader currently, but I've recently branched, and I think that's really what connected me with Egypt a lot. When I first started to read tarot, I knew who Crowley was, but I wasn't really like into him. I knew who he was, but it wasn't really that big of a deal for me. I mean, he's a great guy and there's a lot of different perceptions, misconceptions. There's a lot of things about that. But when I went into the tarot, when I started on Crowley's Thoth deck, I stayed disconnected to it. And I kind of almost didn't even really want to know about him. You know what I mean? I knew a little bit about him, but I didn't really want to. I just wanted to focus on what his model, the model for the Egyptian, you know what I mean? Because he got that information somewhere. When you think about, that's another thing with knowledge.
Yeah, let's hold that thought though, because we're gonna have to. I want to talk to some people about some beautiful things. We are going to be.
Thank you.
Top Hat Tone and I are actually talking about doing our own show where we're going to bring a lot of this in, where you can ask a lot of questions, do a lot of things, but we're also just going to be talking, and we're debating with the name Dark Side of the Room. And so this will be like maybe an every Friday at noon show or whatnot. But that way, you got a question about paganism, you got a question about witchcraft, boom, we've got an expert right here in the house for you. But if you want to ask about, we're going to talk about everything under the sun, whatever we feel like talking about that day. So it's going to be great. We're going to be bringing in guests, things like that. And go ahead.
I am a student, though. I don't know about an expert. I'm always in that position where I don't think I'll ever be an expert. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'll always be a student. And one thing that I actually focus on in my work is not coming across like a teacher or a preacher or, and it's something that I really stay conscious with. And the way I do that is I never generalize, I'm never gender specific, and I never really tell you directly that you need to do something, because in reality, you don't need to do anything. You know what I mean? Not to sound blunt or hard, but I really don't care what you do. Like, you know what I mean? I care.
How many times have y'all heard me go, take what you leave and take what you want?
Best. I want the best for you. But if I tell you that going home and relaxing and not running wild and just chilling and grounding yourself is maybe what you would help you, and you say, all right, but I don't want to do that. I want to go run around every night and cause a ruckus. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't care. Go ahead.
On Tarot with an Attitude, we have the saying, number one, our biggest thing is the barefoot bangarang tribe. People fly, find your childhood again. But one of the things we always say is take what you want, leave what you don't. Just leave with some peace, love, and light. That's all we care. Yeah. It is individualism, and he is the same way I am. It is your choice. Yeah. Take what you want. Leave what you don't. Grab it. Make it yours. We are big believers in individualism here, and that's one of the key things.
Very big. I'm an advocate of individualism and existentialism, too. I am such an advocate in existentialism. Sorry, my blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That it's really, it's dominant, man. I see a lot of these groups and a lot of people are hard on each other, saying that they have to worship a certain way. They have to buy their sage from a certain thing. They have to, you know what I mean, do all these things, but it really takes away from you organically instilling a spiritual enlightenment. You can't, you know what I mean? The real connections are the ones that just happen without knowing. I'm here because I didn't know. I didn't know any of this stuff.
Right.
Woke up one day. And
two things on that. One of the things is a lot of people, they don't know how to get hold of somebody that at least is practicing. So this will open up a channel for you to ask somebody that is at least practicing. But just remember, paganism, Wiccan, all these different things, you know, the Tao. And here's what I want you to understand. Like when we say the Tao Te Ching, it's a hard book to read because it's not written like a normal book. But I want you to read it. It's really an easy read as far as it's just like what you were talking about, not thick, but it's more of a philosophy. And it's so you take parts of each philosophy you want, combine them together and make what you and make what speaks to you. When I am on the other avenue of just what you're talking about, people will ask me, and I get into some of these tarot groups. And the minute I see you always have to, this should be, things like that.
Yeah.
A flag should go up.
Yeah.
It's all about
you'll never hear me say that. Yeah. You'll never hear me say, you should, you need, you'll never, have. Yeah. You know, yeah.
You know, you have to do this because folks, one of the things that Top Hat Tone and I are all about is making sure you understand your path is different than mine. Your path is different than Top Hat's. You need to form your own path. If you can take something of what we are able to put out there and manifest yourself into a great and fantastic place, that is awesome. If you can't, yeah. And then Michael said, you can call him, just don't call him for bail money.
You actually call me Tony or Tone too.
Okay,
if you
Tone, there we go.
Tone. Or Tony. Tony's cool.
Okay.
Call me Tony.
We're always students because the ego is when you think you are the master. Life is always a teaching, and we are always here to learn. Tammy, that's just so awesome. I left Catholicism a long time ago. I knew there was so much more to explore than organized religion, as is a lot of people are waking up, Michael.
Yeah, I could relate to that.
Yeah.
You know, I have a Christian university. If you looked at me, you would never think that I was actually made into a uniformed soldier of the Salvation Army. Technically, I even took an oath. That was when I was a single father raising my son in Michigan. We had a Salvation Army in the neighborhood, and they really helped with me and my son. And I was going through some things. So basically, I am recovering from alcohol. I'm actually 6 years that I haven't had a drink. And when I was getting to the point of,
if I had an applaud sound effect there, I would put it in, but I don't. So,
so that was a big part of my life. Actually, you know, I drank for a long time. I'm not going to get into that. I do some addiction work, and I do have some addiction education. I have a diploma in addiction counseling, and I have an associate's degree in human services. And I studied psychology for a very long time, but I recently switched gears into anthropology. But I might go back and take another little psychology. But anyways, the Salvation Army, they were there at a time when they really helped me. And I actually got a job playing guitar in their gospel band. So I was playing guitar in this beautiful gospel band, and things were good. And then I actually started to attend a Christian university, and it was there that I was able to have all the information that I needed from every perspective to start brewing and start saying, Tony, there's more to life. There's more going on, you know, than what they're telling you. And it was weird because Christian Science actually aided my transformation, because I was reading all these things, and I won't get too much into it, but Christian Science had to agree with a lot of things. They have to agree with NASA. They have to agree with the origins of life. So it's just things that kind of aided me. Besides that, I had a very overwhelming curiosity about energy work and ghost and divinations. I just wanted to know everything about divination and energy work. Okay. And I think that's what kind of led me into it. And then when I started reading tarots, it just changed my life.
Yeah. I've got I've got to get with Rocky, who's a spiritual medium. Rocky DeGotti, some of y'all have seen us. We do a show on Saturday evenings. It's time for us to do another one. She is a medium, a psychic medium. She reads tarot. We have a great ball. Have to check that show
great,
out. Yeah. Generally, it's on Saturdays at 7 o'clock, but not every Saturday. I got to get up with her, and we're trying to figure some stuff out. So with that to look forward. So with that being said, folks, here's what we're going to do. Okay. We are going to call this a day because I have another training session with people coming up here at 1 o'clock, and I got to switch the whole format. But as we said before, and as we always say on Tarot with an Attitude, take what you want, leave what you don't, but just make sure you're leaving with peace, love, and light. And just to remind you, Top Hat Tone, I'm going to get back over
Sky,
there.
I just wanted to say, Sky, that was who. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. She said thank you or congratulations. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. So again, give us your different websites here and different things like that, because I know you've got Space-Time Healing. Is that a website?
Space-Time Healing is a Facebook page, a public page, and that is my main healing, my main tarot page for my tarot services. I'm a daily reader, and Space-Time Healing right now, a lot of it's based off Thoth tarot, but I'm actually veering towards drawing my own cards and think it's beautiful. And I've actually been starting to read objects, and I take the objects and I relate them to elements and to things like that. But Space-Time Healing is my base healing page where I go live. I share things, that's basically my healing platform.
Okay, there we go.
Healing.
So we've also got tophattone.com, and then you've got written here musician.
Yeah, well.
You're a musician at Pagan. Yeah, okay.
So Top Hat Tone. So I also have a Facebook page called Top Hat Tone. And my business is steampunk, gothic, and metaphysical. So I am into a lot of steampunk fashion, but I'm also into actually bringing sort of a casual, everyday look to men and women that are pagans, that are finding ways to adapt now in society. I go to Walmart and I'll see a woman with a witch hat, and I love that. I'm very pleased with that. I have these top hats here, and I've been able to put pentacles on them. I can do custom things like that, and it really gives people a sense of pride. And this is kind of a look that I've been formulating. It's like this weird, thing that I've come up with. So I have that, and yes, I'm a musician. I've been playing for a very long time. And I have my band itself, which is kind of a one-man band, is called Autumn Eve.
Okay.
So that's another Facebook page. That's Autumn Eve, and that's kind of a mix between dark wave and some folk and stuff like that. All my songs are written from poetry because I love poetry. Poetry is the best. So
there we go.
So yeah, that's
all right, folks. Me. So that being said, take what you want, leave what you don't. But make sure you leave with some peace, love, and light. Many blessings, everybody.